While the fall of 2019 is shaping up to be a huge season for game releases with games like the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you could throw Borderlands 3 in there, Death Stranding, there are a lot of compelling games coming out this fall. However, based on indications, it looks like the first half of 2020 might be even crazier. Jason Schreier is hinting at the possibility of some major titles being released in the first half of next year, and I want to go over all of the titles that might be coming out early next year and what he said, because 2020 is going to be absolute insanity in terms of new game releases, especially when you consider the fact that yes, the first half is shaping up to be absolutely insane, but then you talk about the second half, you talk about the next generation consoles. I think 2020 is going to be an incredibly pivotal year for the gaming industry as a whole, so we'll talk all about that. Also, for those of you guys that got the God of War Platinum Trophy going back to April of last year, because that's when this game originally came out, well now, the Platinum God of War avatars are being awarded to trophy holders, so check your email because you might be able to get them right now. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, AI The Somnium Files was one of my more anticipated games of this summer. Unfortunately, the game was pushed back until September, but that game is still shaping up very nicely. And we did get a brand new gameplay trailer. We got a Day 1 edition announced, and Special Agent Edition box art has been revealed. So I want to talk a little bit about that because that's going to be one of the better story-driven games of the entire year. Maybe the best in all honesty. I don't think it's hyperbole in saying that. But first up, want to take a look at what Jason Schreier said over on Twitter. He mentioned a little while ago saying that Cyberpunk is absolutely not coming out this year, referring to Cyberpunk 2077. That got a lot of attention on Reddit and social media forums, so he clarified himself by saying, "This has gotten a lot of Reddit attention, so some clarity. I've heard from 3 sources that Cyberpunk was aiming for 2019, but belief around the studio was that was an unrealistic target. I expect first half of 2020, or maybe even an E3 announcement of 2019, then a delay to 2020. I feel like studios sometimes do this, where just to get excitement riled up, they'll announce a game coming out at the end of the year, or a lot closer of a release window, and then they'll delay the game. I remember vividly this happened with Batman Arkham Knight. I want to say that the game was announced in like June of 2014, and then they were saying it was going to come out by the end of 2014, and then the game was delayed all the way until like mid-2015, and it's like at that point, you're not even delaying the game based on the fact that the game needed work and it was some unforeseen circumstance that caused the delay. It was clear to me that they had no plans in releasing the game in 2014 and then they just pushed the game back. I thought that was a little lame. Maybe that's something that they're aiming with Cyberpunk 2077, because if they come out and announce the game for a 2019 release, that's gonna create a lot of buzz, a lot of traction, and they might be the biggest headline story coming out of E3 if they show off a gameplay trailer and then say the game is coming 2019. Even if they turn around and delay the game just because they got all that publicity, that is gonna garner a lot of attention for their game. So I offer you that as just some speculation. But he also added, after someone responded to him, so we could possibly getting at least Cyberpunk, The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, George R.R. Martin FromSoft game, 1 to 2 Ubisoft AAA games, because remember, they noted that they do have 3 AAA games in the works, and all those will be out before the end of fiscal year 2020, and Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 in first half of next year. And Jason Schreier just responded point blank, based on what I've heard, yes to all of those. 2020 is going to be wild. Now, I don't know if he means that all of those games will be released in 2020. I think all of those games will be released in 2020, but the user noted first half of 2020. I have a hard time believing that all of those games will be released in the first half. I just think releasing The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima right around the same time would be absolute insanity. I hope to God that happens. But then you throw in games like the Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cyberpunk 2077, which I think early 2020 is the window to release the game, because you get a lot of people to buy that game on current gen platforms, and then you turn around and remaster the game or create an upgraded version for the PlayStation 5 and next Xbox, running at much higher resolution, performance, whatever the case may be, and you can double dip on that game a little bit. Look, if Rockstar is going to do it, I think a lot of other publishers are going to jump on board in knowing how these things work, and considering that these games are so incredibly expensive to develop for, getting people to double dip might not be all too bad of an idea. I just offered that to you guys from a business perspective. Obviously, you're not going to be forced to buy both copies, so it's not a big deal, but that's just something I wanted to note. And then you throw in the Final Fantasy VII Remake in there as well, part 1 of that. That would be absolute insanity. I do think the FF7 Remake does need to come out in early 2020, because if it does persist as a PlayStation 4 title, why would you release part 1 of the remake on the PS4 in late 2020 and then turn around and say release part 2 in early 2021 or late 2021? At that point, the PlayStation 5's momentum is in full flux, and I feel like the FF7 Remake loses a little bit of luster, and given the fact that Square Enix is prepping up a big info drop on the game come E3, I do think we're gonna get a release window, and why give a release window of late 2020 in mid 2019? That doesn't make a lot of sense. I could very well see the game be announced for early 2020 and be delayed, because delays are just so prevalent in gaming these days. Honestly speaking, here are the games that I expect to be in the first half of 2020. I know Jason Schreier mentioned yes to all of those, but I think Cyberpunk will be out in early 2020. I think The Last of Us Part 2 will be out in early 2020. Ghost of Tsushima, I'm a little skeptical on. George R.R. Martin's From Software game, I'm very skeptical on. Depending on how far along that game is, maybe it'll be early 2020, but From Software was never a studio I associated with bringing out big budget games every year. However, if you do go back to like 2014, I believe 2014 we had Dark Souls 2, then 2015 we had Bloodborne, and then 2016 we had Dark Souls 3. It's just that we had a little bit of a window of time until Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Maybe they've been concurrently working on 2 games, and that George R.R. Martin game is a lot farther along than we think. That's just something I offered to you guys as well, because 3 years of time, they probably weren't just working on Sekiro, they're probably working on some other projects. Obviously, Justine came in that time period as well, but that was a smaller project. But nonetheless, that's my vantage point on that. I do think that's probably not an early 2020 game. I think that would be much better suited as a launch next generation title, but we shall see. 1 to 2 Ubisoft AAA games, I think that's gonna be maybe a new Splinter Cell. Watch Dogs 3, I do think is gonna come later this year, so as far as those games go, they might very well be new IPs. And the Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think at this point, Square Enix is aiming for an early 2020 release, but it very well could be delayed. You never know what to expect out of Square Enix. They can delay anything at any time, and it could be a big delay or it could be a small delay. Whatever the case may be, I'm really hoping FF7 Remake Part 1 is out early 2020. So that's my speculation on all of those games, just based on knowing how these things work. But keep in mind, I had no inclination that Death Stranding was going to be a 2019 game. That caught me completely off guard, and I think the majority of people were in the same boat in regards to that. So sometimes you can't predict all of those things, but Cyberpunk I think is early 2020, The Last of Us 2 definitely, Ghost of Tsushima I think is better served as a mid-2020 title, maybe sometime early in that summer period, but that might still be classified as the first half of the year. The From Software game, a little bit skeptical on that, but again, if they've been working on it for quite a while, could be a 2020 game. The 1 to 2 Ubisoft games, that's pretty much confirmed. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think they're eyeing for that early 2020 window, but as far as actually hitting that, you just never know what to expect with Square Enix. Alright, the early portion of 2020 is looking to be insane, but moving on from that, if you have the Platinum Trophy in God of War, avatars are being awarded to trophy holders right now, so check out your email, and you might have some God of War Platinum Trophy avatars waiting for you. Now, of course, you need to get the Platinum Trophy to get this email. Platinum Trophy and PlayStation 4 exclusives are generally pretty easy. If you just play through the game naturally, do all of the content, you're gonna get the Platinum Trophy without any major hurdles. I mean, the Spider-Man Platinum Trophy, and that being a bigger open world game, that didn't take you any longer than 20 to 30 hours of just naturally playing through the game. The Platinum Trophy is pretty straightforward. In God of War, yes, there are some challenging elements to the game, but if you just played the game, if you stick to it, you'd get the Platinum Trophy no problem, and that's generally the case with all of the PlayStation 4 exclusives. That's why I love how they do their trophies, and they actually incentivize you on getting the Platinum Trophy because they offer you, you know, avatars, themes, whatever the case may be. Is it something huge? No. I was always of the notion back in the day when trophies and achievements were first being introduced that, hey, it'd be really cool if you could exchange your trophies and achievements for, like, downloadable content or whatever the case may be. Obviously, that never came to fruition, and obviously, why would they do that? That's just them giving away free things. We can't have free things, they'd rather take your money, but free things such as avatars and themes, that's still a pretty cool gesture, so check your email if you do have the Platinum Trophy. Alright, and lastly, I do want to give a shout to AI, the Somnium files. That just had a gameplay trailer revealed, and we also got the Day 1 edition announced, and the Special Agent Edition box art. So the Special Agent Edition is $89.99, that's a special edition of the game, and it will include a copy of AI, the Somnium files, an acrylic stand, an outer box, the Thoughts Remain Below art book, that's 30 plus pages of sketches and concept art, Revere's In the Rain soundtrack, and you get some fan stickers as well. The game will be due out September 17th. Kind of interesting in this case because while it is a Japanese game, we're actually getting it before Japan. It'll be September 17th in North America, and then September 19th in Japan, and then September 20th in Europe, and for PC worldwide on September 17th. This is gonna be a great game if you're into story-driven titles. This was done by the same person that did the Zero Escape game, so if you're looking for something with a very compelling and engaging story, you're definitely going to get that here. Don't expect revolutionary gameplay out of this one, but do expect a quality title, and again, AI the Somnium files will be out September 17th. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, if Jason Schreier's inclinations are correct, and the indications at this point seems pretty likely that a lot of major titles will be out in early 2020. So yeah, you better save up some money if you're looking to pick up all of these games, because I think early 2020 is going to be absolutely packed, especially that final wave wave of PlayStation 4 games as we start prepping up for games on the PlayStation 5. They're gonna try to get all of those games out early 2020, and I would honestly think that a lot of those games are prepping up some remastered versions on the PlayStation 5. These publishers aren't stupid. Cyberpunk on the PS5, that would sell incredibly well. Last of Us 2, PS5 version, it would sell incredibly well. Ghost of Tsushima, that would do well. The From Software game, that would do well. And the Final Fantasy VII Remake, I think they're gonna be a little cheeky on that one. Part 1 early 2020, Part 2 later on down the line. PS5 gets the Ultimate Collection for $80 with souped up visuals, and you get both parts in one package. I can't believe I'm just giving the publishers all of these ideas to juice the consumer out of money, but let's be real. They already have all of these ideas in the back of their head. They're not stupid. Just something I wanted to note to you guys. If you got the Platinum Trophy in God of War, check your email as you might have some avatars waiting for you, and AI the Somnium Files new gameplay trailer, and we got some information on that game. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.